It was 2:47 a.m. when a phone call shattered the quiet of a suburban home. Michael Johnson didn't know it yet, but in the next few hours, one simple decision would unravel everything he and his family had worked for: their home, their savings, and the life they had carefully built over decades. One loan, one signature, one moment of trust would change everything. As the clock ticked toward dawn, the Johnsons' ordinary life teetered on the edge of a nightmare that no one could have predicted. At 2:47 a.m., the phone rang. Its sharp, unexpected sound pierced the silence of the Johnsons' bedroom. Michael Johnson stirred, blinking at the glowing screen of the nightstand clock. Sarah, still half asleep, murmured his name. Michael reached for the phone, and in that instant, their lives changed forever. On the other end was a voice delivering news that would unravel years of stability, comfort, and security. By sunrise, the Johnsons' world as they knew it had been transformed entirely, all because of a single loan. The Johnsons lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Ohio. Michael, 42, worked as an accountant in a small firm, and Sarah, 40, managed their household and took care of their two children, Emma and Jacob. Life was modest but steady. Their home, a 2-story suburban house with a small yard, represented years of saving and planning. Evenings were often spent at the dinner table, discussing the children's schoolwork, or in the backyard watching the kids play until dusk. It was ordinary, peaceful, and predictable, a life that many would call fortunate. Yet, like countless middle-class families across America, the Johnsons had dreams. College funds for Emma and Jacob, small family vacations, and the hope of eventually retiring comfortably were constantly on their minds. They were careful with money, calculated every investment, and always thought 2 steps ahead. But one morning, their carefulness collided with an opportunity that seemed too good to be true. Michael received a call from a loan officer promoting a low-interest loan for a small business investment. The officer promised security, growth, and a future that would seemingly guarantee financial freedom. "Mr. Johnson," the voice had said, "this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, completely safe. Just sign here and your future is secured." Michael, trusting his experience and judgment, believed it. He glanced at Sarah, who had joined him in the living room, and said with quiet confidence, "This could finally be our chance to get ahead." Sarah hesitated. She had an uneasy feeling, a whisper in her mind that questioned the safety of this loan. Yet she trusted Michael's judgment. After all, he had always been cautious, rational, and attentive. Without scrutinizing the fine print, Michael signed the documents. They assumed that the bank's promise of security and the officer's assurances were enough. They couldn't see the clauses hidden in legal jargon, the variable interest rates, and the severe penalties for even minor lapses. That one signature, meant to secure their future, would soon spiral into a nightmare. For the first few months, everything appeared normal. The Johnsons made payments on time, and the small business investment seemed to yield minor profits. Life continued as it had before. The children played, school assignments were completed, and evenings were filled with quiet conversations. It was ordinary, peaceful, and predictable, a life that many would call fortunate. By the 6th month, the Johnsons were barely keeping up. They sold what they could: unused furniture, old electronics, even some family heirlooms to pay the growing debt. Michael started taking on extra shifts at the firm, often staying late into the night, while Sarah tried to find part-time work to supplement their income. Despite all their efforts, the debt continued to rise, almost as if it had a life of its own. The letters from the bank became increasingly threatening, the emails urgent, and phone calls relentless. The investment that had promised security now felt like a trap from which they could not escape. The real turning point came in the cold months of winter. One evening, Sarah noticed a letter left on their front doorstep. It was marked in bold letters, "Foreclosure Notice." Their home, their safe haven, the physical representation of years of planning, was being taken from them. The notice gave them just 2 weeks to vacate. Panic swept through the household.
Emma, 8, asked why they couldn't stay. Jacob, 12, tried to remain stoic, but hid tears behind his pillow. Michael and Sarah worked frantically. They called the bank, pleaded with loan officers, and sought legal advice, but nothing could reverse the tide. The loan terms were binding, and the accumulating penalties were insurmountable. The home that had once been filled with laughter and warmth became a place of stress, arguments, and sleepless nights. Boxes were packed hastily, belongings were divided between what could be sold and what could be taken to their new temporary apartment. Family photos, childhood toys, and personal mementos, all symbols of their life, were packed into boxes that would never fully carry the essence of what was lost. The Johnsons moved into a small, cramped apartment in another city. It was nothing like the home they had built. The walls were thinner, the rooms smaller, and the neighborhood unfamiliar. Their routines shifted drastically. Michael juggled multiple jobs, Sarah managed the household under tighter financial constraints, and the children adjusted as best they could. Life became a series of sacrifices. Fewer meals out, no vacations, limited entertainment, and constant anxiety about the mounting financial pressures. Months passed, and slowly the family adapted. Emma and Jacob learned to find small joys despite the challenges. They celebrated minor victories like completing homework on time or saving a small amount of money for a new toy. Michael began to see the lessons hidden within the disaster. He understood the importance of reading every clause, questioning every assurance, and consulting experts before making significant financial decisions. Sarah, too, learned resilience, patience, and the ability to manage crises calmly under pressure. Despite the hardship, there were moments of quiet reflection. On Sunday mornings, the family would sit together in the small living room, sipping coffee, playing simple board games, or reading together. These moments, though humble, reminded them of their bond, the one thing that could not be taken away. Life after the loan was never the same, but it taught them lessons about prudence, vigilance, and the fragile nature of financial security. The Johnsons' story is not unique. Across America, countless families face similar struggles, trusting promises, making one critical decision, and discovering too late the consequences of that choice. The moral is clear. Even decisions made with the best intentions can ripple across every aspect of life. Contracts must be read carefully, financial advice must be vetted, and no opportunity, no matter how enticing, should be taken without full understanding. Years later, Michael and Sarah continue to rebuild. They remain cautious, meticulous, and ever aware of the lessons they learned. They now share their story not as a tale of despair, but as a cautionary narrative to educate others. The Johnsons learned that life is unpredictable, financial security is delicate, and one decision can indeed change everything. Even in the face of adversity, the family's resilience shines. The children, now more aware of the fragility of stability, approach life with care. Michael and Sarah, older and wiser, hope that sharing their story can prevent others from experiencing similar pain. Every small choice matters. Every signature, every agreement, every contract carries weight. The Johnsons' journey reminds us that life is shaped not just by the grand events, but also by the decisions we make in the quiet moments, often without fully realizing their impact. As the story closes, the lesson is clear. Vigilance, knowledge, and caution are tools for survival in a complex world. Life after one decision is never the same, but it can still be meaningful, reflective, and full of hope for those who persevere.
After months of chaos, the Johnsons had settled into their small apartment. It wasn't the home they had built, but it was a roof over their heads, and for the first time since the foreclosure notice, they could breathe without the constant threat of eviction hanging over them. Michael worked long hours, often late into the night, juggling multiple jobs just to keep the family afloat. Sarah took on part-time work, managing every aspect of the household with precision, ensuring that Emma and Jacob were fed, clothed, and still attended school regularly. Every day was a struggle, but slowly the family adapted. Even in this cramped apartment, moments of normalcy existed.
Emma would sit at the small table doing her homework, occasionally glancing up to ask her mother for help. Jacob, though older and quieter, still found ways to laugh, even if the laughter was tinged with the awareness of their new reality. Michael would come home exhausted, but made a point to sit with his family during dinner, sharing small stories about his day. These moments, though brief, reminded them that they still had each other, a family intact, even if their world had been upended. One evening, as snow began to fall outside their apartment window, Michael sat alone at the table, counting the remaining money in his wallet. The small pile of coins and a few bills felt heavier than it should have. Every coin was a reminder of the consequences of a single decision, a single signature on a contract that had seemed harmless at the time. The weight of that one moment pressed on him, and he realized that life could change faster than anyone anticipated. Yet, within that weight, there was also a sense of clarity. Michael began reading about financial literacy, about loans, interest rates, and investment pitfalls. He researched every step of their financial recovery, determined never to allow another misstep of this magnitude. Sarah joined him, learning alongside him, and together they began to rebuild not just their finances, but also their confidence. Every small saving, every cautious investment was a deliberate step toward regaining control over their lives. The children, too, began to understand. Emma asked questions about budgeting and savings, showing a level of awareness beyond her age. Jacob, though quieter, internalized the lessons through observation. The family's experience became a silent teacher, instructing them on prudence, patience, and resilience. They had lost much, but they had also gained wisdom that could not be taught in a classroom. Months turned into a year. The Johnsons slowly regained stability, though life was still far from the comfortable routine they had once known. Their apartment, once a symbol of limitation, became a space of learning, of adaptation, and of newfound appreciation for small joys. They celebrated minor milestones with quiet gratitude, Michael finishing a taxing week of overtime, Sarah completing a challenging project at her part-time job, Emma receiving a high grade, Jacob mastering a new skill. Each achievement was a reminder that life, even after devastation, still offered moments of hope and accomplishment. One evening, as Michael sat at the window, watching the children play outside on the small playground near the apartment complex, he reflected on the journey they had taken, from the moment of signing the loan to the chaos of foreclosure, the emotional strain of moving, and the months of rebuilding. It was a journey that had tested every ounce of their patience, every measure of their endurance. He realized that while the loan took their house, it could not take their spirit, their bond, or the lessons they had learned. The story of the Johnsons is in many ways a cautionary tale. It is a reminder that life is fragile and that every decision carries weight. One moment, one signature, or one choice can set off a chain reaction, altering the course of an entire family's life. But it is also a story of resilience, of human capacity to adapt, endure, and rebuild. The Johnsons had faced the worst, and though they did not regain all that they lost, they emerged stronger, wiser, and more prepared for the uncertainties that life might bring. As the evening sun dipped below the horizon, casting warm light across their small living room, Michael looked at his family. He saw not the losses, but the strength that had carried them through. Sarah smiled, exhausted but resolute. Emma and Jacob played quietly, their laughter soft but genuine. In that moment, Michael understood a truth he wished he had known earlier. Life after one decision is not defined solely by loss, but by the courage to continue, to learn, and to move forward. The story of the Johnsons does not end with despair. It ends with the quiet understanding that life is shaped not just by the moments we anticipate, but by the choices we make and how we respond when those choices lead us into unexpected trials. Theirs is a story of caution, yes, but also of hope. Even after losing everything, they discovered that the bonds of family, The lessons of experience and the will to persevere can carry a person through the darkest chapters of life. And so, the Johnsons continue their journey, not with the home they once knew, nor the comforts they once took for granted, but with a wisdom born of hardship, a unity forged in struggle, and a hope that guides each new day. They are a family transformed, not by wealth, but by understanding. They know now, more than ever, that every decision matters, every choice has consequences, and that life, even after devastation, offers the chance to rebuild, to reflect, and to grow stronger than before.